Okay, hi. Paul Michaels here for Nerdsupernova podcast. This is our first mini pod, as we call it, a
Yep.
mini podcast. I'll start off with my friend KJ here. We're going to talk a little bit more into the realm of video games today. KJ, why don't you start and tell us what you think of this new addition, Cloud, joining Super Smash Brothers?
Yes. It's KJ. It was just released today. This probably won't be up today, but just released today when I was looking and stuff. Cloud from Final Fantasy VII is going to be the next downloadable character in Super Smash Brothers, which they already have a bunch of awesome downloadable characters. Some are old veterans, and then there's Ryu from Street Fighter, which everybody was excited about, and now Cloud. They still have another character they're going to be announcing in December, which is like the fan-voted one, which everybody's been going nuts over who they think. But I think it's a very interesting move from Nintendo because it's such a random, unexpected character that you weren't. Everybody's thinking.
I didn't think Cloud was going to be in it.
Yeah, everybody's thinking like Nintendo characters, and Final Fantasy, while it's been on a couple Nintendo platforms, Final Fantasy VII was never on that.
Nintendo, yeah.
Which I was reading some of the comments on YouTube, and people were like bitching about it. I'm like, oh, give me a break. Like, I'm gonna have fun playing with him. I'm gonna have fun fighting against him. Like, it's a video game. It's not like.
Not only that, it taps into a whole other fan base that might not necessarily have been interested in Super Smash before. But I mean, who knows? Me as a Nintendo fan, I just want to say right off the bat, this is apart from Cloud, Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U is amazing. Not only is it a great game, but it's shown how Nintendo is approaching DLC and how DLC should be done, or how it should have always been done since day one. With the fact that they did very little to begin with. They made sure the game was a success, and then they just listened to fan input and what fans wanted, and then they just kept making stuff. So that the game
is that they just keep adding to it. They already had a game that was a 100% game to begin with, but now they're just like, oh well, here's 105%, here's 110, here's 120. When they just keep adding more.
And
more
guess
stages,
what?
more costumes, more characters.
And now people keep going back and playing the game and keep buying it, because guess what? That's how DLC should be done.
Well, they still have at least, I think, 2 more character slots saved. Somebody hacked it, and they found that there was 3 more coming out, which Cloud is obviously now one of them, and then the voted character is one, but I think that there's still another mystery. It's just like a save file that's saved under something.
It's one of the hugest rosters of any fighting game. Period. It's just.
I think Mortal Kombat.
Mortal
Kombat games. I think Mortal Kombat 10.
The newest one, X, that one.
No, maybe it was one of the Armageddon or Apocalypse or something. It had every single Mortal Kombat character in it.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know more than I do.
It had everybody.
I want to make it clear. I know movies and TV pretty well, and comic books really well, but video games, I'm sort of, some video games better than others, but for the most part, I'm always still learning about video games.
Well, the thing I always loved is that Smash Brothers is one of the games, when it first came out on the N64, my buddies and I, we would always play it, and even back then, it only had 8 characters. Yeah,
now, I missed that one. I pretty much didn't get into it until Melee. I remember when Melee originally came out, and all my friends were into it, and I remember playing Melee at my friend Derek's house. And that was a fun game, and I remember having the game, and then I didn't get into it for a long time, because Brawl didn't come out for a long time, and Brawl wasn't
one of those party games where everybody, you can...
Yeah.
It's easy enough to learn the combos to it. To get really good at it, you can really make some combos and chain attacks and everything, and juggle them so they never touch the floor, and you can just own them. But it's one of those where you can really pick up and play it, because it's up A, over A, regular A, down A.
Yeah.
It's really simple, the controls. It's not super complicated like Mortal Kombat trying to do the fatalities where you've got to be shit, I've got 5 seconds to do this 20-button combo. Friendship. No, your babality.
I don't know.
No, they had a whole one of them animality.
The only Mortal Kombat I think I've played is the original one on Super Nintendo, which I still own. And I think I played a little bit of X because
crazy if they put a Soul Calibur character into
Super Smash.
Super Smash.
That'd be. I mean, if they're doing Final Fantasy,
they throw in Ivy in her metal bikini.
It could happen, man. I mean, honestly, dude, like Smash is just that game. That game, it's in general just you know blew the doors open because, like I said, the DLC was
Well,
just
I guess
it was
Mewtwo's coming out for the Amiibo soon too.
Mimo's nice, nice. That's good.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to murder somebody to find one.
Oh, hopefully not.
No, probably not. I'll
Okay.
just run over old ladies.
Jesus. All right.
Black Friday, need it.
Give me the Mimo, you old
It's like,
bag.
it's like one of those old games, like Mario Kart, though. It's like one of those you always put it in, like you can do a couple rounds and like play with people and be like, shit, I lost this one, we're going again.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
we're gonna need to replug in my Wii U and stuff. But yeah, the Mario Kart 2 for the Wii U is also. I cannot express how much that game was.
I'm surprised they haven't
awesome.
done more downloadable content for that game.
I think they have, but I think it's
we
just
just
it's
haven't
we,
updated.
I think it's been a little while since we've updated because I know there was a bunch of stuff that I missed out on, or we had it, but we hadn't played it in a while because when Ben came over, we played it quite a bit and it was really good. The Wii U is sort of underrated, but they only really just started making really great games for that console, and now they're already going on to the next one.
Next console, yeah.
It's called the NX, which is hilarious.
I know another thing that was released today. Two things is that Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow
Oh, yeah, I
are
saw
getting. I don't think they're getting updated, but they're getting released for the 3DS.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And also for Hyrule Warriors, there's a female Link character that they're bringing to it.
Yeah, I gotta
So
hook up the
Link
Wii U
is- Link is a chick.
yeah, I gotta hook up my Wii U again and go back on the main the pages in the shop and get everything that I need to get out of there. But yeah, like for me, I want people to know if anyone's listening. I love the Wii U, but we had to do some reorganizing recently in the living room, and at some point in my room I'm going to set up all my consoles simultaneously so I can just play any one of them at any time. So that's my goal.
And have 8 different TVs to run them all simultaneously.
Do you remember that what was it, that Johnny Quest modern TV show? It was like a sequel to the 60s TV show. It took place in the modern day, and Johnny's a teenager now. And they always went into Quest World, which was like a really bad rendered like video game, pretty much. It was hilarious. But the bad guy was always like in a wheelchair because his power was that he was like fully, awesome. He was like Tron, like he was like better in the computer world than he was in reality. And but yeah, he was always surrounded by like computers and all that stuff. So that's what I always think of, like whenever I'm like, yeah, I have all the consoles all set up. I'll just be like that guy.
Surrounding you.
I don't know, but then the Matrix came out and then ruined everything dealing with the green and computers, and no one wanted to do that anymore.
So, other topic I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I want to start off, and then I will let you talk about. So I am a movie buff first, and then everything else has kind of come after TV and comics. Like, why I'm so much into comics is because The Dark Knight and Watchmen came out. So I always try to do my best to get involved with the nerd culture when a new product comes out. Like, I've always liked Deadpool, but now the Deadpool movie's coming out, so I'm trying my best to read like every Deadpool comic I can before the movie comes out, so I can feel like I know the source material pretty well, and like as hardcore fans do. Now you have a movie like Warcraft coming out, and I consider myself a decent gamer. I own a lot of video games. I've played a lot of them, but I'm not like hardcore like I know a lot of other people are. That being said, I have never in my life played World of Warcraft, though I've heard it's a cool game. I've heard it's a fun game, and it's got many great expansions. It's got a huge fan base. You yourself are a huge fan. You played for over a decade. You told me bits and pieces here and there. So all that being said, when the Warcraft trailer got announced, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna watch the trailer and just make my opinions. But obviously, I know nothing of the fan base or the world. But you yourself were mixed, so I will let you continue and tell me your opinions about the trailer and why you feel this way.
I understand where they're coming from. Like, I grew up playing Blizzard games. I remember playing like Lost Vikings as a kid, and then Warcraft 1 came out, and I played that, and Tides of Darkness, and Warcraft 3, and StarCraft, and Brood War, and Diablo, and Diablo 2. I remember at college we all went out and bought Diablo 2, and we actually took over one of like the commons rooms like before finals, because we had no finals like the next day, and we actually just started brand new characters and played through the whole entire game like with each other, like because it was online.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, one of one of our friends didn't have the expansion, so we went out and bought it, downloaded the expansion. Then we went through, made brand new characters, played through it all again, and the expansion. So yeah, we've played a lot of Blizzard games, and then World of Warcraft came out, and I call it like an addiction that you never really get over, because I'll go months without playing it, but then I'll go back to it. It's like, oh, new expansion! There's a little bit of something new. Oh wait, it's all still the same crap. I just have to grind in a new area. But it's still. But the movie, they announced the movie, and it was always rumored for like the longest time that they were working on a movie. Then it was confirmed that they were working on a movie, and then they showed some pictures and the other thing. The trailer came out, and you're never gonna match the expectations of all the fans that have been playing this franchise. World of Warcraft itself has been out for 10 years, and then you think 10 years before that was when like Warcraft 1 probably came out. It was really shitty old like graphics. Well, then it was astounding.
Alright, so I'll say my two pieces, and then I'll let you continue. Things I do know is that Warcraft is directed by Duncan Jones. People who don't know who that is, he is the son of David Bowie, but he is also an accomplished director, director of Moon and Source Code. If you have not seen those movies, I recommend you see them. They're very good. So when I heard he was going to direct this film, I was mixed about the idea, because again, I didn't know much about the world, but I was like, okay, he's a good director, and I trust his vision, and I hope and wish him well. The other thing I know, mainly because you told me, Warcraft, and why it is called Warcraft and not World of Warcraft, is because it literally takes place during the first Warcraft game, correct?
That's what it looks like they're doing, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so
World
anyway.
of Warcraft takes place after all 3 games, and this one is when the orcs first come to Azeroth from Draenor or Outland.
Okay, so Azeroth is the name of the planet. Yeah.
It's the planet.
And to be clear, it's Warcraft 1, 2, 3, and then World of Warcraft.
That's correct. Well, yeah. There's also the expansion. There's Frozen Throne, which is the expansion to Warcraft 3.
And again, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 were regular computer games, but World of Warcraft was the first MMO, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, yeah. The Warcraft series was always a castle builder, like strategy war game, where you would build up your town, your castles, and your barracks and everything, and you would train troops, you would upgrade your buildings to get better troops and make better buildings and everything, and then you would attack the other people. Yeah. And so you always had the choice of being either the Horde, or the orcs, or the humans. And so that's where the whole World of Warcraft, you could choose to be either the Horde or the Alliance, where you can be like the different races in each.
I really like the poster showing both the red on the orc and then the blue on the man, basically, and showing the different right there, showing the two hordes.
It's interesting because there's so much lore involved in just the backstory before you even get to Warcraft 1 that they made up this whole like lore and everything. It's like any like series, like Lord of the Rings has all the lore of everything. Like it's how much are you going to include, how much are you going to kind of skim over just for the movie, how much but I'm excited if it does well. I'm excited to see them go into more depth and add the other races, because right now it looks like there's only, from the trailer, it looks like there's only humans, orcs, and a troll or two. I thought I saw a troll in there.
I mean,
it looked like the female troll.
I don't know so much about the whole thing. I mean, again, they might be saving stuff for later.
I'm guessing there's going to be dwarves in there, and there's probably going to be high elves, which are like the Legolas-looking elves, like the pale skin.
Now, you said that there's a scene where they have like what looks like a little green orc being put away into a basket like Moses.
Thrall.
And Thrall apparently he's been in all the games, and he's like old now by the time the World of Warcraft, pretty much.
At the beginning of World of Warcraft, he's like in his prime. Nowadays, he's kind of like retired. Okay. He's still like a prominent character in it, but he's not leading.
So he's like old man Logan type style, like he's not like ancient, but he's old.
I would say more like Yoda style, where it's like...
Well, Yoda was pretty up there.
No, he's not as old as Yoda. I'm saying he kind of distanced himself from the Horde.
He's in self-exile, or just retired?
No, he's wise. He's a shaman, so he's like in touch with the elements, but he realized that like the whole Horde and Alliance like fighting each other wasn't really worth it. Yeah. So he kind of distanced himself from it. He gave up the title of War Chief of the Horde, which that guy ended up turning out bad. and went kind of crazy with power and tried to turn the Horde back into like a war machine.
No, that's fun.
And then Thrall is still super powerful, but he's now trying to now in the game he's trying to like raise a family and all this other stupid shit.
$10 says the family gets killed and he has to go back in the fight and kill
I
people.
doubt it.
I mean, it would suck. I mean, I don't want that for Thrall.
Anybody who would death wish if they kill his family, because he would just like show up and be like, "Guess what, bitch? I control all of
in
you."
Old Man Logan, they killed his family, and what happened to the Hulks? Sorry, people who don't know, Old Man Logan is a Marvel story about a alternate future where Wolverine grows old and he's like Clint Eastwood in Western style. Anyway,
back to the movie though. The
yeah,
storyline and everything aside, I think that the fact that they're doing live action and CGI orcs,
but it's like too CGI. It's like almost cartoon
it looks
character.
Cartoony, whereas if anybody has played any of the Blizzard games, even back in the day, their cutscenes,
their cinematics
are beautiful. They're gorgeous.
They're well done.
Like they even just released right on the same day that they released the movie trailer. They released the trailer for their next expansion, which I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics are great.
Yeah,
they're great. Even for like a fantasy game, obviously you know that like the demons aren't real, but like
and honestly, it makes more sense because I can buy the humans in the giant armor in a cartoon. Right? I can't buy it in live action.
Whereas
I mean, I understand why they do it that way.
And I understand it takes so long for them to produce these 3-minute, 4-minute little cutscenes and everything, but still, why not just make the whole movie like that?
That'd be cool.
Because then people could watch it and you'd be like, all right, this is kind of cool. Instead of being like, all right, they're talking to a cartoon. It's like,
yeah, I don't know.
I was hoping that it would be, like I said to you, I thought it was going to be like Avatar, where everything was CGI.
Well, to be fair,
all motion capture.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, if we're going to say using Avatar, they did have live action actors in Avatar.
I know, but I'm saying they were still CGI though.
Mm-hmm.
They were still motion captured their face to then render it in a computer. So
the Na'vi looked more real than the orcs did in the Warcraft trailer.
I
would say that.
People like Sigourney Weaver, like her whole human character, she was still a motion capture. They didn't just film her.
No, they had her being human, and they had her being the Na'vi version.
No, but I'm saying like the humans in Warcraft, I wish were like the humans in Avatar too, where everything was CGI.
All right. Well,
that would have been a safer bet.
I was going to say I disagree with you that it should have been done more in the cinematic version of like the games. Pretty much, that would have been better if everything had been done that way.
I was hoping that, but
yeah.
Now it just looks. It reminds me of Episode 3 in Star Wars, where it's just like, this looks so fake.
You know what though? I mean, Episode 3 has its issues. I feel it's more like I was going to say like I feel like Attack the Clones did way worse, like because you had so much going on, like with the droids versus the clone army.
Episode 2 still had real sets in some of it.
Somewhat. I don't even know. I feel like
all of Episode 3
was green screen.
Green screen, dude. They just walked into a big warehouse that was all just painted that green, and then they just acted in front of it.
Wow.
There was no real set.
Are you sure there wasn't one set?
Watch some of like the documentary shit.
They
had props.
Okay.
They had props like a chair, but like all of the backgrounds and all that crap.
Sounds weird. Like sounds like they just went totally Robert Rodriguez on Spy Kids type deal.
That's why everybody's just like, oh my god, like why do you even have actors at this point? Like you're not filming a movie. Like
I don't know. I feel like some things were at least real sets in 3 still, but I don't know. Well. Either way, on Warcraft, I'm just kind of mixed. I think what I'm going to do. I think you'll probably see it opening weekend.
I doubt it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, probably not.
All right. Well, I'm going to wait and see how the reviews come out, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll see. Maybe like the next trailer will look better. This is just the first trailer.
Yeah, it's like a teaser. So.
Well, then again, like look at the whole thing when we first saw Apocalypse for X-Men, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's fucking Ivan Ooze." Yeah. And now you see like the new pictures of him, and you're like, all right, he looks a little better.
Yeah,
like,
but
maybe they'll be like, maybe we have to do some stuff here and fix it.
I don't know. Like, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. They're supposed to have an Apocalypse trailer, I think, in front of
Star Wars. Yeah,
Star Wars. I think that'd be cool. But we're staying on Warcraft. Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited for the new expansion. The new expansion looks awesome. It brings back my favorite character, who's not going to be in the movie. Which is why I'm hoping that the movie's successful, because then they can go into like
and getting more.
They can be
like,
oh my god, there's other elves and there's other creatures and the Tauren and the
Well, I mean, for me, what I was going to say is like
Tauren are like minotaurs.
For me, the main thing is not just understanding the material, but the story that the movie is going to tell. That's the main thing for me. And will I care about the story? Will it feel too generic, or will I get into it? That's my main thing. And again, understanding the game, I feel has a little bit to do with that. But I hope the movie is written well. Like I mean, you can have the cartoon orcs, I guess, for me, but like the thing is, I wanted to cater to fans. I want fans to be happy with the movie, but at the same time, I don't want to be a guy who hasn't played the games at all and be entirely lost. You know, like I watched Lord of the Rings.
Well, that's why they're starting at the very beginning.
Oh, I know, and that's a good plan. And again, like that's how but that's what I liked about Lord of the Rings is that I knew a little bit about a few things here and there, but for the most part, I didn't know all the books in general and whatnot. But I was still able to follow the story that Peter Jackson told, and like wanted to come back for more. So that's what I'm hoping the movie can do if it's successful and it doesn't look terrible or whatever. You know, Warcraft. So, anyway, that's my expectation.
Yeah.
But what most do you want to see in the movie? If like you know, up against the wall, like gun to your head, like what's the thing that you want to see the most out like in the film?
Warcraft 1, there's not that much craziness
okay.
in the first game that I can remember.
Is there anything, any particular character or anything?
What's his name? Is it Lothar? No. I don't remember.
I don't
remember their names that far ago. All of them are dead now.
Alright, so let's just hope for magic and shit.
The fight scenes. If they do the fight scenes well, I'd like to actually see fighting. Not just like cartoon flying. No. Like, I mean, everything happening so fast that you can't actually see what's happening.
It can't be any worse than Transformers
That's
Revenge of the Fallen.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
So whenever you saw like the Transformers fighting, you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Because they would like fight so quickly, and it would just be like mashing up and like.
I have seen the first one enough where I can tell what's going on now, but 2 and 3, I don't even want to think about.
But like,
it.
I would like to see fight scenes where you can actually see the fight scene.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No.
That's enough.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our expectations, and we hope for the best. And yeah. So that's what we got to say about our first mini pod. Let us know your thoughts and comments, and yeah.
Oh, I had a thought for the next one, but I totally forgot it now.
All right.
It'll come back.
Well, mini pod 2. We'll worry about that later. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.